Just give me some reaction. I just wanna
All right, you're welcome back. I have here with me someone who a lot of you know of, I want to believe, is an actor, former Mr. Nigeria. I beg your pardon, not former Mr. Nigeria. Mr. Nigeria, he's an actor of so many of TV, movies, and runner-up Mr. World. I don't know why he didn't win it, but he came very, very close. I have here with me Emmanuel Ikubese.
Yes.
Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me here.
How's it going, man? How's everything with you so far?
It's good. Everything's been going well. It's been a good year for me. I thank God. Honestly, it's been a very good year for me. I just, I don't know if I should wait for you to ask me the questions, but I think last week I just signed off an endorsement deal. You know, so
great things are happening.
Yes, it is.
That's
it
the
is
most important
yeah.
thing. Let's talk back a bit. We'll get to all the endorsements and movies and all of that. But I mean, I know you have a Kenyan side to your story.
Oh,
you
yeah.
went to school there at some point.
Yes.
You left home.
Yes.
Then ran back. So was it just for school, or you decided to move out of Nigeria? What informed that movement?
It was actually for school. I just wanted to go out to school, and my dad visited Kenya at some point, and the hotel he stayed was very close to the school, so he checked it out, and it looked nice, and he came back and was like, there's this nice school, and it sounded nice. It was USIU, it's an American university, United States International University, and I think at that time I really wanted school abroad. I was applying and it wasn't working. I was like, okay, fine, let me just go to this school. I've been home for a while. I was really looking forward to go to military school. That's what I really wanted to do.
Your brother is a military man,
yes,
I believe.
Yes, he is. So I was one who was actually supposed to go to military school, you know, but it didn't work out. So I stayed.
Your liver fail or?
No, not really. I was so passionate about it, but you know how it is now, getting into military, especially ND in Nigeria, you need to have like really, you know, that kind of thing. Well, I believe things work out for good. So maybe it wasn't just my calling, because if I was in the military, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
So does that mean acting was not necessarily in the plan at the time?
It wasn't really in the plan. In fact, in my family, my younger brother is the most entertaining person. He's a great poet, he's a great writer, he's an amazing dancer, he's a good rapper. Like, I'm just the guy who just tries. Like, I can try to sing.
And he's the one in the military now?
Yes, he's the one. So imagine
so
how
good.
His
dream and he's
exactly,
living your
kind of. You know, so everything just switched. So I went to school. I didn't plan anything about entertainment. It was just all about school. But then I learned a bit of DJing with my mom. My mom has like an entertainment outfit. She organizes events for kids and all that. So I learned how to DJ from her, from our boys. She has boys that does that. So I went to school. I was, you know, trying to bring out my productive side. So I was DJing in school, organizing parties, and I just became this celebrity in school. They used to call me DJ Feko. You know, so I used to bring in like Nigerian music and West African music into Kenya at that time, because they didn't have any Nigerian music. It was fully Kenyan music. So I could actually say I was one of the people who pioneered Nigerian music in Kenya. You know, so that happened, and I went into modeling. Then I went into music.
You really going into this because you liked them, or for the money, or what was really happening?
I was just doing it for the fun of it, you know. But then, of course, it was bringing some cool pocket money apart from what my parents were giving to me, and it was nice, you know. And then music came in. I did a lot, performed a lot. I used to cut weights for almost all the Nigerian artists that used to come to Kenya at that time, from the Banj to Two-Face to Banky to everyone at that time, you know. Then acting called. I actually wanted to do music. It became funny. I don't know what happened. I just decided to go into acting. Acting came, MTV based, Sugar came through, and then it gave me a good platform. That was my first movie, first film ever, and I got a lead role, and that just
changed
everything.
Interesting. I mean, most times people make a deliberate effort to go through these things, and it's interesting.
No, but
I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't deliberate, but at the same time, it wasn't necessarily the grand plan.
It wasn't the grand plan, but it was a whole lot of. I went.
So when did you decide that, okay, this is what I'm going to do? At what point?
When did I decide? At some point in my career, I decided this was what I wanted to do, and I started putting a lot.
While you were still in Kenya?
While I was in Kenya, I put in a whole lot more effort into what I was doing. I just made sure, because my parents were very concerned about school, and I made sure whatever it is I was doing wasn't really going to affect my school and affect my grades. And because I promised them, I said, don't worry, I'll come out with good grades. And they said, okay, fine. Finish school. So after I graduated in 2010, I remember they came for my graduation ceremony in Kenya, and I was like, hey, I'm done now, so can I do what I want to do? They're like, okay, fine, we'll give you all the support. And that's why if you find out every event I go to, anything that concerns me, from Mr. Nigeria, my parents were there. At the Mr. World, they were there in London. They came through to support me. For my premiere, they were there, like Sugar premiere. They've always been there to support me. So they're keeping to their own side of the promise, because I did my own side.
Interesting. Let's talk about Mr. Nigeria now.
Yes.
And it's always pageants generally are very interesting for a lot of people, because people think, I mean, why Are you debasing humans?
Yeah.
Then it's even more interesting when it's a guy.
True.
Or when it's guys in the pageant.
Yeah.
Did you not feel a certain way about going into that
Trust
pageant?
me, I did. I did. The day when I decided I was going to contest for Mr. Nigeria, it was actually my parents. We were just talking, and my dad threw it. Was like, you can do Mr. I was like, what is Mr. Nigeria? It wasn't my. What I actually wanted to do was Big Brother. You know, I thought, yeah, that was just a bit more money in Big Brother, you know. But for some reason, I tried it I went for audition 3 different times, it never worked. So Mr. Nigeria came up, and I was like, no, not Mr. Nigeria. Come on, man, you know, not Mr. Nigeria. But then I looked at it, it was beyond just being Mr. Nigeria. I see, platforms, opportunities are what you make them. You understand? You can get you can even play the smallest role in the movie, but it's what you make of that role that can actually open a whole lot more doors for you. So I looked at it and I was like, you know what, you can make it, even if it's not what people don't give it that respect, because that's what people don't actually give Mr. Nigeria. People are, after winning, yes, I realized people don't give Mr. Nigeria the respect that he's supposed to have. But I've tried to actually make people see that Mr. Nigeria is not just about a fine boy. It's not just about a guy just looking good or about a guy, you know. It's a whole lot. It's a perfect gentleman. It's a perfect Nigerian man. From intellect to a good leader, someone who's able to carry people along, someone who's able to do things that would benefit the society. And that's what Mr. Nigeria is all about. And this actually happened when I went to the Mr. World, and I saw how much importance people from other countries took their own Mr. Denmark or whatever it is. You know, it was great. They had great sponsors. They had great people from their own countries supporting them. And then when I came second, I was like, you know what? Despite the fact I didn't have as much support that I needed, but there's a whole lot more that we need to change about our perspective of Mr. Nigeria. And I'm glad it's not been there, but I think I've tried to actually change the perspective of what people think about it.
I'll definitely give you credit for that. I mean, you started this project Raw, which is very impressive. Most times you hear people who win pageants say, you know, I want to support or fight a cause, and it's usually just in words. You know, but you have gone through with action, and you talk about your premiere recently. Let's talk about the movie now. What informed that, and how hard was it pulling that off?
Well, I wouldn't call it a movie. I just call it a short film, which is also a movie, but it's a film. So it was my first time being in front of the cameras and behind the cameras. You know, so I was the producer and also as an actor in the movie. Black Hour was I just realized we need to do something on this issue of domestic violence, and I thought using my platform as a young person, as a guy especially, because I realized the issue of domestic violence, we as men have actually been so quiet about this issue for a very long time. And women are just crying out, but they're just victims. They can't do anything. Victims can't fight victims.